Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of Johnson's Court today. I'm super excited to be back with you guys all. If you can't tell, the NBA playoffs are right around the corner. They do start this weekend, so I'm super excited about that. Everyone in the world is super excited about that. If you are not a sports fan, get one because sports is happening all around the world, and it is so much fun. We're all having a blast here. But it's not just me. Today on the video, it is my dog Forrest who is sleeping on the ground, but it is also another one of the creators of the channel, Mr. Rio Terry.
What is up, guys? I'm excited to be back, and I'm ready to talk about NBA playoffs.
We are all excited. So, Rio, we'll get into it. We won't keep the people waiting long. But, the playing tournament is here once again. Obviously, we go into it for the 7 through the 10 seeds. It's the 1 through 6 seeds that really matter. There are 4 playoff matches. 2 on each side, the East and the West, that are already locked up, 4 and 5, 3 and 6 on both sides. So we'll get into that once we get past the playing tournament. But our first business that we have is I will just name the teams that are in the play-ins, and then we will just go right down the list of who we think is going to win where, and then what seeds do we think they're going to be. Who do we think is going to play the OKC in round 1? Who do we think is going to play the Cavs in round 1 on the East? So super excited to get into it and stay along for this whole video because it's going to be a fun one. And you will find out who we have playing in the championship and who we think is going to win it. So that will be super exciting, super fun. But with that being said, we'll start in the East. As the 9 and 10 seed, the Bulls are the 9 seed at a 39 and 43 record. And the Miami Heat, without Jimmy Butler, is 37 and 45. As you all know, Jimmy Butler is no longer on the Heat. Got traded to the Warriors after all this finascal and everything that happened. But then you've also got the Magic, who are 7 seed at a 41 and 41, even 500 record, playing the Atlanta Hawks, who are 40 and 42. I'll go ahead and give my picks. Who I think is going to come out of the East and where they're going to be, and then I'll let Rio go as well. So for my first, the Magic versus the Hawks, whoever wins this game will go on and play the Boston Celtics in round 1. I personally see the Orlando Magic winning this series, winning this game, I guess you could say, and playing the Boston Celtics in round 1. I think it'll be a great matchup, and I can't wait to see the Celtics versus the Magic in the first round. But then that means the Hawks would lose. They would go on to play the winner of the 9 and 10 seed. Now that, like I said, it's between the Bulls and the Heat. I do think the Bulls win that game. But I do think that the Hawks are going to beat out the Bulls. And then it's going to be the Cavs versus the Hawks in round 1 as well. So I have got the Cavs playing the Hawks, and I've got the Celtics playing the Magic. I think that would be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what happens and see if my picks are correct. But I'm going to let Rio go, and I'm going to let him give his picks and who he has coming out of the East playing the Cavs and or playing the Celtics.
Yeah, so that bottom seed, that Bulls Heat, I feel like that might be a little closer than what a lot of people think. I know the Heat don't have Jimmy, but they still got Bam. I still think they have a team with good chemistry, and then they got Eric Spoelstra. So I actually think that the Heat could muster a win out of here, so I'm going to go ahead and pick the Heat. And I believe that I think you were spot on with the Magic take that they're going to beat the Hawks. I think that they're a deeper team, and that they're going to do away with the Hawks pretty easily. However, I do think that the Hawks will come back and seal it up against the Heat. So I pretty much have the same picks as you, man. I just have the Heat advancing except for the Bulls.
Understand. And it's a fun, 9-10, matchup. It's a fun 7-8 matchup. Because if you are the 7-8 seed, even if you lose, you still got another chance. So that's the only way you give yourself kind of like, well, man, we didn't play our best, but, we are going to play our best going forward to now play the number 1 seed. And depending on how the brackets are lined up, you may or may not want that. So now on the west side, you've got the number 9 Kings, Sacramento Kings, at a whopping 40 wins and 42 losses versus the number 10 seed, the Dallas Mavericks, the forgotten Dallas Mavericks, with no Luka anymore, with actually a injury-prone AD, who are 39 and 43. And then you got the Warriors at a 7 seed, 48 and 34 versus the 10 seed Grizzlies. Oh, not a 10 seed. Sorry, they are an 8 seed. I wrote that down incorrectly. But the Grizzlies are 48 and 34, so same record as the Warriors. I'll let Rhea go first here, but the only thing I want to note is the Warriors are 0 and 3 in tournament play, in in-season tournament play.
All right, I don't think I realized that statistic before we came into this, so that is pretty crazy with such a veteran team we know them to be. But I'm going to start at the bottom. I think that I think a lot of people have the Mavericks taking this. I think, AD's back. He has brought us forward. I think that they do have a good team, but I personally like this Kings team better in this 9-10 matchup. So I think that they're going to advance. And as far as the Grizzlies and Warriors, I like drawing the Grizzlies, man, and I felt like they were making stuff work until, the suspensions and a little bit of injuries. So I kind of have more faith in the Warriors with Jimmy Butler on their team. So I think that the Warriors are going to win. And then I believe that the Grizzlies could take care of the Mavericks after that.
And as funny as that is, I actually, so mine are going to be reversed on here. I think the Kings, so same with you. I think the Kings get it done to beat the Mavs. But I think that the Grizzlies are going to beat the Warriors. And the reason I say that is because I think the Warriors are going to lose on purpose. I think the Warriors would rather play a younger OKC Thunder team than play a aggressive, hard Houston Rockets team. So I personally think that the Grizzlies are going to play the Rockets first round, and I think that the Warriors are then going to beat the Kings and play the OKC Thunder in the first round to kind of have more of an advantage. I just think that they'll be able to, play better versus OKC than they are the Rockets. So those are the two swaps that I have. So I think the Warriors go 0-4 in tournament play and then get their first win versus the Kings and play the OKC Thunder. But on the east side, Rio and I are the same, but on the west side, we are a little bit different. So next on our agenda, I'm going to run through, who I have and who I have advance into the second round. I'll do one matchup at a time, and then, it'll be vice versa. Rio will go, I'll go. Rio will go, I'll go. But I'll start in the east, since it's just easier since we have all the same picks. But, I've got, we both got the Cavs versus the Hawks. As much as I like Ice Cold Trey and, I want the Hawks to do something, I just think that they either need more pieces or he needs to leave and, go somewhere else. He's been with the Hawks organization for a long time, but I think it's time for him to move on. Team up with another superstar. So give me the Cavs, who are the most dominant in the NBA this season. And I've got them moving on to the second round. And I will let Rio go, and then we'll keep going.
All right, yeah. So with that pick, man, I think you pretty much summed it up. Cavs the best team in the West or in the East. I think that they're gonna make easy work of these Hawks team. I think 4 games is gonna get it done. Donovan Mitchell, I think is a superstar caliber type player now, and so I see the Cavs easily breezing by this round.
I agree with that. We'll just keep it in the same region. You've got the Pacers as a 4 seed playing the Bucks as a 5 seed. As an Indiana Pacers fan, I really wanted to play the Pistons in round 1. I just think that would have been, suspensions, fights, just would have been so much more fun. We played the Bucks a lot, so I guess that's also why I just wanted to play a different NBA team in the playoffs. But it is confirmed that Damian Lillard will not start that series, so they will be without their superstar, Damian Lillard, due to blood clots. But can Giannis, your superstar, and they still got a pretty good team. But still, can Giannis carry the Bucks past the Pacers? I don't personally think so. I think that the Pacers do win this matchup, and I think Giannis is out of the Bucks organization after this first round exit. And so I think that the Pacers will go on to play the Cavs.
Wow, hot take, and with that Giannis take, man.
Dude.
Thinking he's going to leave.
I think so.
Man, I agree with you, and I agree with you on Indiana winning. I also have them winning, but honestly, man, I had them winning in 7 with a healthy Damian Lillard. I don't know how your thoughts about that is, but I think that they'll get it done with 6 without Dame, and maybe like game 1 or 2, he might be gone.
I think they can get it done in 5 with the Pacers since they're playing at home. They have home court advantage. But if they needed the deal done in 6 games, that's fine. They can do that as well on the road. But then we've got the Celtics and the Magic. Now, as much as I want the Magic to win, because I just like the up and coming Magic, I like what they're doing in that organization. I do see the Boston Celtics winning this. Unfortunately, I do see it as a sweep. As much as I don't like to see sweeps. The Celtics are just firing on all levels. They know what they're doing. They're very, very good. I'll continue to talk, and you'll see how far I have the Celtics going. But I do have the Celtics winning versus the Magic.
Yeah, I also have them sweeping them, but that's not to discredit the Magic, man. Like you said, young and exciting team. I think that they're going to be a deep team once they really get all the pieces together. And I see one of these games being really close, or maybe like a few of them, but I feel like the Celtics will get the sweep.
That's what I'm saying. So, but then you've got the Knicks at the 3 seed and the Pistons at the 6 seed. I think this is going to be the best matchup of the first round in the East. So, not to say that the Pistons can't do it, because they could. I mean, they are a fighting one hell of a team who, I definitely see this going 7 games. Tom Thibodeau does play all his starters on the Knicks, all 48 minutes, if more, if they go into overtime. You've got Karl Anthony Towns, you got Chandler Brunson, you got to have a hot take in one of these. And so my hot take is the Detroit Pistons beating the Knicks here. I just think it'd be fun. I think it'll be exciting. So give me the Pistons beating the Knicks in 7.
I really like that pick, man. The Pistons are on a crazy win streak. I don't exactly know the numbers. I believe it's 20, and it's a single-digit number, like 5 or under. So they're definitely going on a good pace at the end of the season. Cave is coming into his own. It's really cool to see that. However, I think we disagree on this one, man. This is going to be our first disagreement. I got New York finishing in 6. I think Detroit is a young and upcoming team that is going to get 2 wins on them. I think they'll pull out 2.
I mean, that's not a bad, to say that that's not going to happen. I mean, the Knicks are favored. Like I said, I just want to have a hot take in there. I do, want to see, a team that normally doesn't go too far or advance past the first round, get, past that. So that'd be super exciting.
For sure.
But so for the first round, I've got the Cavs playing the Pacers and the Celtics playing the Pistons, and Rio has the Cavs playing the Pacers and the Celtics playing New York. So now we'll go over to the West, and then obviously we'll go round 2, round 3, round 4 into the championship. To start with so he's going to start with the Thunder versus the Grizzlies. Who do you have winning this matchup?
So I have the Thunder winning. They're both young teams. Memphis is a little older. They got a little more experience. But I think that the Thunder just have a better team in this matchup. I think that they're going to win in 5. I think that the Grizzlies could take 1. I think Jaw's going to go off. I think he's going to have a really good series. But, man, I just don't see Memphis getting it done versus OKC this year.
I have to agree. OKC, they're the hottest team in the NBA right now. They've been the hottest team all season long. They arguably have the MVP in Shea locked up. If it's not a shared MVP with Nikola Jokic, he averaged a triple-double this year, one of only 3 players to do it. He is just phenomenal. I mean, personally, it's hard to say, Shea is the automatic MVP. It's hard to say Jokic is. I think, honestly, it's shared. Personally, who I think is a better player, I think Nikola Jokic is a better player. That may or may not be a hot take. If you really love Shea, and you only see him winning the MVP, but with what Nikola Jokic has been able to do, they just fired their head coach for the Nuggets. So there's a lot going on in that organization. Does Nikola Jokic stay after this year? What happens? I don't know. But like I said, we'll get into the Nuggets in their playoff series. But I do have the Thunder, beating. I've got them beating the Warriors. I think that this does go 6 games. especially since the Warriors have that veteran experience. You know, they know how to play, they know how to win championships. But, you know, they've also got some other young guys on that roster who haven't been very far, who haven't won championships. So it's a team effort. It's a team sport. This is not golf. This is not an individual sport by any means. So, you know, you have to have, you know, your team has to play. Curry can't just go off for 60 and expect to win the game. Well, if that whole other team scores 61 points, well, that 60 wasn't enough from Curry. No, it's not realistically going to happen. But you guys understand my point there and what I'm making. So give me the Thunder over the Warriors in the first round. But then we'll move on to the Nuggets, who are the 4 seed, and they are playing the Clippers at the 5 seed. I know we've said a lot about the Clippers in the past years of saying, man, I really want the Clippers to win the championship. I think it's their time to win the championship, especially when they had Paul George and whatnot. But obviously Paul George is on the 76ers, so didn't even talk about the 76ers on the Eastern Conference side because they're not even in the playoffs with, you know, the whole dumpster fire organization going on over there. But, you know, maybe this is the time that the Clippers, you know, do, you know, make a run to the finals. But I don't personally think so. Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, they've won a championship. They know what it takes. They damn near have the same roster as, you know, kind of as the Warriors do with obviously a few new pieces, stuff like that. But I think the Nuggets are going to go pretty far in this year's playoffs. And so, you know, give me the MVP and Nikola Jokic, and I think, you know, that team as a whole is going to play pretty well. So give me the Nuggets over the Clippers in 5 games.
It's a good take, man. It's a good take. I do have Denver beating LA, but I think it'll be 7 games, man. I think Harden's going to step up. I think Kawhi's going to be healthy. I think they're going to give Denver a run for their money. I would personally like to see them beat Denver, but, man, I can't count them. Man, you know, champions. Jokic's crazy play. I think they'll get it done. So, but I got them in 7.
I feel you though. Like you said, you know, we've been saying it's the Clippers' time forever. And is somehow this year they're going to shock us. They're going to shock the world. But then we go down to the 2 versus 7 seed. So for real, I'll let him go next. He has the Rockets versus the Warriors. How do you feel about the series?
Yeah, so I really like this series, and this is actually going to be my biggest upset pick. I don't have a lot of faith in the Rockets, man. I think that they are one of the younger teams in these playoffs without a lot of playoff experience. Their guys have a few years under their belt, but not a lot of playoff experience. So I really just think I could trust Golden State to beat them in a 7-game series. I think they could do it in 6. I don't even think that the Rockets would stretch them to 7. That's my surprise pick.
As crazy as that sounds, it's not necessarily a surprise pick. I mean, it is because the Rockets are favored. They're a 2 seed, so yes, it is. But when you look at what the Rockets have been, trash for the past 4, 5 years, you know, and for them to be a 2 seed this year, I mean, it's phenomenal. Like, you know, happy for the Rockets. But, you know, putting the Warriors, you know, if they do play the Rockets, you know, I can't see the Warriors winning that because they do have that experience. They do have those dogs in them. If the Warriors won that series, that would be crazy because how funny excuse me, would that be if they play the Lakers in the next round? That would just be hilarious. I think that'd be cool. That might happen. Who knows? The NBA might do that. If you know, you know. But, you know, mine's the Rockets versus the Grizzlies. And, you know, kind of how you said it, like, you know, with Ja and the Grizzlies, they might take 1 or 2, whoever they're playing. But whoever they're playing, you know, obviously is favored against them. And in my case, it's the Rockets. So I do see the Rockets advancing and seeing the Rockets win. Now, do I think that the Rockets make it past farther in the second round? I don't know. We'll come to find out. We'll see when we get there. But I do at least see the Rockets winning past the first round. So... But then with that being said, you've got the Lakers versus the Timberwolves. Rhea, I'll let you go. Who do you have winning this series?
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5.
Timberwolves, man. Timberwolves, all they've done is downgrade. They got rid of their superstar. A lot of people think Anthony Edwards is their superstar. I'm a big Cat fan. I consider that being their centerpiece. They got rid of them, or him. They've been doing worse. Lakers got Luka. They've been doing better. I'm only being generous, and I'll give the Timberwolves 1 game because they do have Ant. But I got Lakers in 5.
I feel you there, man. I mean, you know, the way that the Lakers have played since, you know, the craziest trade, one of the craziest ones in NBA history, getting Luka, Doncic for Anthony Davis and a few pick swaps and money and all that other stuff. For them to be a 3 seed, I was actually surprised that they were gonna. I thought they were probably gonna be a playing team, but then with the addition of Luka, obviously, they're a whole nother team. It's not just on LeBron to be like, hey, you're the man, you show up. It's like, no, actually, Luka, you're the man. LeBron's gonna be LeBron, but Luka, you're the man. So get ready for that. So I think it's the best thing for the Lakers, honestly, to have a player of high caliber that Luka is, but then also one of the faces of the league, and to be able to be who he is, I think he can take the Lakers far. My hot take at the beginning of the season was the T-Wolves do not make the playoffs. But surprisingly, they did make the playoffs as a 6 seed. But kind of like Rio said, I don't see him having a lot of faith in them. I mean, Ant-Man is Ant-Man. He might have 2 good games, but I really do see the Lakers winning this in 5, because it doesn't matter if it's on paper, on television, who's starting, who's not. I really do think that the Lakers will get this done. I don't have a good boom, boom, boom Lakers in 5. I was trying to think of one, but I don't have one. But I do see the Lakers winning this and moving on and playing the Rockets personally. So, but no, I mean, so that's pretty cool. What were you gonna say, Rio?
Lemon lime soda. What's the hold up? Lakers 5.
Lakers in 5. Doesn't matter who it is. Lakers in 5.
Lakers 5.
But no, I mean, so that's pretty cool. Super excited. To see how our round 2 matchups will shape out. So we'll get into those. So they can move on to round 3. We'll start in the East. We will start with the Cavs and Pacers. Who do you have for that, Rio?
So this is a pick that our fellow Indiana friends and our special friend Zach and Riley's little brother is not appreciating me with, but I'm actually going with Cleveland. I am betting against my state. As much as I like the Pacers, man, we have a crazy good team. I just think it's Cleveland's time this year. I think that they're more deep. I think that they have better superstar. I think they have better defense. I just don't see the Pacers getting out of it. And I have Cleveland in 6.
You got the Cavs in 6. Now that's not a bad take, because the Cavs are the number 1 seed. So the number 1 seed is usually always favored, no matter who they play, until they get on to later rounds. I just don't have a lot of faith in the Cavs. It was one of my hot takes, and I'll say it here. I had the Cavs missing the playoffs. And for them to be a number 1 seed, I got slapped right in the mouth, is what I did. So, they proved me wrong, which is a good thing. I like that. Definitely, go against the grain. Don't go with the wood. But, it's cool to see them being number 1 seed, but I don't have a lot of faith in them. I'm still going to stick with the Pacers winning this in 6. It's not the LeBron Cavs. And I think, with that being said, I think the Pacers, don't have that to kind of be like, oh, man, we got to go play LeBron and the Cavs, It's a different team. It definitely will be hard. I could, see it going 7 as well. But, I really do see the Pacers winning this game. And we'll see how far I have them going. But going with the home state, going with the Indiana Pacers. Going with them.
I can't hate you for that pick, man.
I get it. But if you got the Cavs going, do you have New York or do you have the Celtics playing the Cavs in the next round then?
Again, this is one of the ones where I'm betting against the team I want to win. I would like to see New York win. I'm not the biggest Boston guy. I don't know if I just don't cheer for the top teams, but I think Boston will take care of it in 6. I know I have a lot of 6-game series, but I think that New York has a good enough team to take 2 surprise games. I don't know, even as good as the Knicks are, I feel like people are expecting the Celtics maybe to win 4 or 5, and I just think that than that, man. I think they got Brunson and Cat, they got Bridges, they got the Villanova squad, they got Hart, they got a reason to be underdogs, and so I feel like they'll get 2 games. Give me Boston 6.
You taking the Celtics or you taking the Knicks?
Boston, Celtics.
Okay, okay. My bad. I wrote down the wrong one. That's my fault. That's my fault. Celtics. So you got the Celtics, playing the Cavs. I'm going to have the Pacers playing the Celtics. I think it's going to be a rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals last year where, the Pacers should have never got swept. As everybody knows that. Never should have happened. We should at least took 2 games there at least. But, it doesn't matter. Injuries, whatnot. I'm not going to make excuses. We just didn't show up. We did not close in the final seconds of the game. Until that clock hits 0, you play until the final freaking whistle. And I think that Pacers have, a better shot this year. And I think that they can, even if, potentially they don't win versus Celtics, I think that they can get it done versus Celtics. But, the Celtics are just a good team, dude. It's hard to bet against them as good as they are with all the talent they have. I see the Celtics winning. I see them beating the Knicks. I see them beating them in 5 personally. I think they're going to take, the 2 games in Madison Square Garden. They might only take 1, but I still see them winning in 5 as much as, you don't want to see the same teams, back to where they are. But Celtics are just that good of a damn team, so I do see the Celtics playing the Pacers in the next round. I just see it. But then going to the second round, for the West, Rio has the Thunder versus the Nuggets. Who do you have winning that matchup?
So, I've been picking on a few teams. I picked on Houston for being young. I picked on Detroit for being too young. I think eventually you gave into the Cavs for being too young. Well, this is where I'm going to give in to the Thunder being too young. I think that the Nuggets are going to take care of this series in a hard 7-5 games. I think it'll be like one of the greatest, hopefully, playoff series of all times. I think that the Nuggets veteran status is going to get the job done. Jokic, you've been talking about him. I can't even think of something to add on what you said about his greatness. Like one of the best seasons ever. I just think they get it done, man. I think their veteranship is going to carry the torch.
No, absolutely, dude. I am in the same boat as you. You do have the 2 MVPs going up against each other. So, who's going to outshine the other one is basically what that comes down to. And, who's got a better overall team play. As crazy as it is, the Thunder play great team ball, and so do the Denver Nuggets. So, like you said, I think it will be one of the greatest playoff series ever. If the Nuggets win in 4 or Thunder win in 4, I'd be pretty damn upset. Not going to lie to you. But I don't see that happening because I do see this being one of the greatest ones ever because, the 2 MVPs are playing against each other. The Thunder have nothing to lose to. The Thunder really could make it all the way. Even, being the number 1 seed, they are, one of the best teams ever to play. But like you said, that veteran leadership, that's where I see Nikola Jokic coming in, rallying the boys, and then he's like, "Hey, let's go win so I can get back to my horses." All right, so that's what he's gonna do, and I have the Nuggets beating the Thunder as well on my side. But then on my side, I do have the Rockets playing the Lakers. Dude, as crazy as this may sound, I've got the Lakers winning. I do have Lakers winning because, I think kind of how you said about the Rockets, you just don't have a lot of faith in them. I have enough faith in them that they get past the first round, but I don't see them going any farther than that, especially with having LeBron, having Luka, having Austin Reeves, just having a good supporting cast, JJ Redick's a good coach, everything's going right in the Lakers' direction. So I see the Lakers in 5. It doesn't matter if it's shampoo, bamboo, it's Lakers in 5. There we go, baby. I did it. So yours is Lakers versus Warriors, which that's going to be a hell of a series if that's the case.
Yeah, that's going to be 2 familiar faces facing off, man.
Who have faced in the finals plenty of times.
Both veteran players, they both got veteran players. I would say the Warriors probably have more right now.
Yeah.
However, Steph Curry, chicken curry, beef curry, cheese curry, Lakers in 5.
I like yours too. That was a good one. But I mean that's so true though. Like the Warriors could take them. This could go 7 games. Both of the second round series could go 7 games easy. And that'd be spectacular.
Yes.
So, with that being said, moving on to the fourth round, which we'll find out here in a second, I've got the Pacers versus Celtics in Eastern Conference Finals. You've got the Cavs versus Celtics. I've got the Lakers versus Nuggets, and you've got the Lakers versus Nuggets. So we have the same Western Conference Finals. Eastern Conference Finals, we differ by one team. I'll go ahead and go first here, but I've got the Pacers versus Celtics. As much as I want the Pacers to get over this hump, I think it takes them one more year. Not saying that they can't. They made it this far. They made it to Eastern Conference Finals twice, back-to-back years. That's going to be really good. But I think it takes them one more year to get there. And so I've got the Celtics beating the Pacers. I do see this game going 6 minimum. I really do think that the Pacers have a lot more in them this year than they did last year. So give me the Celtics in 6, moving on to the NBA Finals.
I like that pick, man. I like that pick. Yeah, I really hope we can figure it out, man. I think we need to add another little piece, like in the draft, because I think we've been drafting really well. It's exciting to see the Pacers' future. In my matchup, I got Cleveland and Boston, man, and this is where I think Cleveland runs out of gas, man. I think this is where their experience runs out. I know Donovan Mitchell has experience in the playoffs, but I think that the Celtics just outshine that, man. And I got them winning in 6. I've seen a lot of people have them winning in 7 because Cleveland is a 1 seed. But again, man, I think the veteran status, I think it drops it to 6 games. So I got Boston in 6.
So from that, coming out of the East, we both have the Boston Celtics. Can the Boston Celtics go back to back? That's what we really want to know.
I believe so.
But who's going to face them from the West to see if they can do it? I'll let you go first on this one. Even though we both have Lakers Nuggets. Who do you got coming out of the West, man? Who do you got challenging the Boston Celtics? Do you have the Lakers who want to once again tie the Celtics for the most banners in NBA history? Most NBA titles? Because right now the Celtics are up 1.
They are. I truly believe that the Lakers will beat the Nuggets. Now, it's not that I've been dogging the Nuggets. I got them going all the way here, man. I've been giving Jokic his flowers. He won it MVP. Like, majority of the past 5 years. And I just think that, I think the Lakers get it done. I think the Nuggets have been bullying the Lakers the past few years. They kind of took that torch from them. I think that the Lakers were in a dead zone, but now that they got Luka, man, I really do just have faith in Lakers. It's not just me being a fan. I think they got this in 5 games.
Chicken nuggets, Dino nuggets, Nuggets in 5. I've got the Nuggets coming out. And I'll tell you why. I've gave Jokic his flowers the entire way. And I think that I continue to give him his flowers the entire way. Because that is one hell of a team that they've got there. Now, the Lakers versus the Nuggets, that's going to be a great series. Either one who comes out of that, I think, can obviously win the championship. For sure. But the Nuggets have that more experience as a team. The Lakers don't. Yes, you've got Luka, who's a phenomenal player, game changer. He does things that, other people dream about doing. So, if the Lakers can figure it out through these playoffs, I 100% I could see the Lakers playing the Celtics again. But I don't. I do see the Nuggets. Yes, I know they fired their head coach. But I think Jokic does rally. Jamal Murray's back now. You got Michael Porter Jr., you got Aaron Gordon. You've got a healthy, solid squad to make a deep run all the way to the finals. So, I think the Nuggets get it done. I think it's going to be fun either way, whether it's Celtics, Lakers, or Nuggets, Celtics. Going to be phenomenal. But that means that we move on to the NBA Finals. Who is going to host the trophy? Who's going to host it? I don't know. But we're about to find out here in 30 seconds. Maybe 35 seconds. I've got the Celtics versus the Nuggets. And Rio's got the Celtics versus the Lakers. I'll go first here. I've got the Celtics versus the Nuggets. Can the Celtics go back to back? Can the Nuggets win another championship? And Nikola Jokic also win MVP this season as well? I see Nikola Jokic winning MVP, but I see the Boston Celtics going back to back. Hasn't happened in a while. The Celtics are who they are, man. They are phenomenal. I know that they can get it done. Whether they play the Lakers or play the Nuggets, they're a great team all around, dude. You know, their entire starting five. You know, Drew Holiday's coming off the bench. Derek White is maybe coming off the bench. Richard Pritchard. I don't know his first name. Maybe it's Richard. Richard Pritchard? Peyton. I like Richard Pritchard better. So I'm going to call him that every time he hits a three. But I do have the Celtics winning this. You know, they're a great team, man. I don't know if they'll three-peat, but I think that they will go back-to-back like Drake says. But give me the Celtics in 6. That's my pick. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
I think that, I think the 3 teams we narrowed down here, going with Los Angeles, you going with Denver, and you guys going with Boston. I see any of these teams winning it. I also see a lot, at stake. If Jokic got the MVP and the chip, it would be the first time since Curry did it in 15 in the same year. And if the Celtics, repeat, it'd be the first time since the Warriors did it with Kevin Durant.
There's a lot of history maybe be written here.
There is. LeBron could get his 5th. Luka could get his 1st. Tatum could add 1. Tatum could finally get a Finals MVP. There's a lot of stake, man. But I got the Lakers and the Celtics, and I'm gonna take my Lakers in a healthy 5 games. I think that Luka is too much for the green.
I get it, man. It's going to be an exciting playoffs. Like I said, like I said 2-3 years ago, if you're not watching the NBA playoffs, start watching now. I mean, you're a little late to the ball game, but you're catching up, even if you're watching this year. And that was when Luka was on the Mavericks. That was, when the Nuggets were winning, when the Suns were winning. Crazy to think the Suns are not even in the playoffs this year, dude. There's 76ers are in the playoffs. There's just a lot of teams that things just didn't go people's way that you thought it was going to go. But that's what sports is all about, man. You have one prediction, a team outshines you, it does something different. My hot takes don't always land, and they didn't. But, we'll see what happens here in all these rounds. We'll have a great playoffs, and we're super excited to watch it. Like I said, the play-in tournament does start tonight. The Warriors and Grizzlies and the Magic and Hawks. So whoever wins both of those matchups will go on to play that 2 seed. The Warriors win and play the Rockets. Will they have an easier path if they take the 1 seed? Will the Magic take on to the Celtics? How far can the Magic go? Can the Magic carry them? I don't know, man. But I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be exciting. What do you think about the playoffs for Rio? Are you pretty hyped about them?
I'm very hyped, man. I plan on following it closely. I think that there's a lot of young teams. Like you said, man. We had teams like Philly not showing up, and we had teams like who was the other team you brought up?
What did I just say? The Suns.
The Suns, man. It's crazy to think that they're not in it this year. So I think it was filled with this young upcoming good teams. I think they're going to surprise us. They're going to show us what they got for the future. I think our veterans are going to show out this year, just like they did at the All-Star game. I'm super excited, man. The league is in a good spot. It's changing hands. We got 40-year-old LeBron versus, young stars leading their team to, first seeds like it's in a really good spot, man. I can't be more excited.
2025, the NBA playoffs are coming at you. Get excited. Get ready. Like I said, chicken nuggets, Dino nuggets, nuggets in 5.